In the land of Canaan there lived a man named Jacob, who had 12 sons. Among them, Joseph was his favorite, born to him in his old age. To show his special love, Jacob gave Joseph a richly ornamented robe, a coat of many colors. This gift stirred jealousy among his brothers, who saw how their father favored him. Joseph had dreams, vivid and mysterious. In one, he and his brothers were binding sheaves of grain in the field when suddenly his sheaf rose and stood upright, while theirs gathered around and bowed down to it. In another dream, the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. When he shared these dreams, his brothers' envy deepened, and even his father rebuked him, pondering what the dreams might mean. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers who were grazing the flocks near Shechem. As Joseph approached, his brothers saw him from a distance, and their jealousy turned to malice. "Here comes that dreamer," they said. They plotted to kill him and throw him into a cistern, claiming a wild animal devoured him. Reuben, the eldest, intervened, suggesting they not shed blood, but throw him into a dry cistern, intending to rescue him later. As Joseph arrived, they stripped him of his colorful robe and cast him into the empty cistern. Soon, a caravan of Ishmaelite traders passed by, heading to Egypt. Judah proposed they sell Joseph instead of harming him. The brothers agreed, and for 20 shekels of silver, they sold Joseph to the traders. They then dipped his robe in goat's blood and presented it to Jacob, who mourned deeply, believing his beloved son was dead. As Joseph was led away in chains, the desert winds blew, and the brothers returned home, leaving behind their guilt and the echoes of his cries. Joseph arrived in Egypt and was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and captain of the guard. Though a slave in a foreign land, God was with Joseph. Everything he touched prospered. Potiphar noticed and made him overseer of his entire household. But peace didn't last long. Potiphar's wife began to cast longing eyes on Joseph. Day after day she tempted him. "Come lie with me," she would whisper. But Joseph, righteous and loyal, refused. "How can I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" One day she caught him by his cloak. He tore himself free and fled. Scorned and humiliated, she screamed and accused him falsely of assault. Potiphar burned with anger and threw Joseph into prison. Yet again, Joseph was confined, but not forsaken. In the cold darkness of the prison, the Lord was still with him. The warden saw his integrity and put him in charge of the prisoners. There, Joseph met two of Pharaoh's servants, the cupbearer and the chief baker, each imprisoned for offending the king. One night, they both had strange dreams and awoke troubled. Joseph saw their distress. "Do not interpretations belong to God?" he said. "Tell me your dreams." The cupbearer dreamed of a vine with 3 branches that budded and produced grapes. He pressed them into Pharaoh's cup. Joseph interpreted, "In 3 days you will be restored to your position. Remember me when it happens." The baker, hopeful, shared his dream. 3 baskets of bread on his head and birds eating from the top basket. Joseph hesitated, then said, "In 3 days, Pharaoh will lift off your head." 3 days later, on Pharaoh's birthday, both dreams came true. The cupbearer was restored. The baker was executed, but the cupbearer forgot Joseph. 2 whole years passed. 2 years later, Pharaoh had 2 disturbing dreams. In the first, 7 fat, healthy cows emerged from the Nile, followed by 7 gaunt, ugly cows that devoured them. In the second, 7 plump ears of grain grew on a single stalk. Then 7 thin, scorched ears swallowed them up. No one in Pharaoh's court could interpret the dreams. Then the cupbearer remembered. "I know someone," he said, "a Hebrew slave I met in prison. He interprets dreams accurately." Pharaoh summoned Joseph immediately. Shaved, cleaned, and dressed, Joseph stood before the most powerful man in Egypt. "I've heard you interpret dreams," Pharaoh said. "I cannot," Joseph replied, "but God will give Pharaoh the answer." Pharaoh told him the dreams. Joseph listened, then said, "Both dreams mean the same thing. God is warning Pharaoh. There will be 7 years of abundance in Egypt, followed by 7 years of severe famine. Let Pharaoh appoint a wise man to store food during the good years, so Egypt will survive the famine." Pharaoh was amazed. "Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God?" He appointed Joseph second in command over all Egypt. Joseph, once a slave and prisoner, now wore royal robes and a signet ring. He was only 30 years old. During the 7 years of abundance, Joseph oversaw the collection and storage of grain. When the famine struck, it spread far and wide, even to Canaan. Jacob, Joseph's father, heard that Egypt had grain and sent 10 of his sons, Joseph's brothers, to buy food. They stood before Joseph, not recognizing their long-lost brother. But Joseph knew them. He didn't reveal himself. Not yet. Instead, he tested them to see if their hearts had changed. Joseph accused them of being spies. Shocked, they pleaded, "We are 12 brothers, sons of one man in Canaan. One is no more, and the youngest is with our father." Joseph demanded proof. "Bring your youngest brother. Until then, one of you will stay here." He imprisoned Simeon and sent the rest back with grain, secretly returning their silver in their sacks. When they told Jacob, he was distraught. "You've robbed me of my sons. First Joseph, now Simeon, and now you want to take Benjamin?" But as the famine grew worse, they had no choice. Reluctantly, Jacob let Benjamin go, sending him with gifts and double the silver. When Joseph saw Benjamin, he was overwhelmed. He prepared a feast and seated them in order of birth. The brothers were astonished. He gave Benjamin 5 times more food. Still, they didn't recognize him. Before they left, Joseph planted his silver cup in Benjamin's sack and sent soldiers after them. When the cup was discovered, Joseph declared Benjamin must stay as a slave. The brothers were heartbroken. Then Judah stepped forward and offered himself instead. "Let me stay in place of the boy. Our father will die if he loses him." Joseph couldn't hold back any longer. He sent the Egyptians out, wept loudly, and cried, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" His brothers stood frozen. "Do not be afraid," Joseph said. "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to save many lives." He embraced them. He wept. He forgave. Joseph sent for Jacob and the entire family. Pharaoh gave them the land of Goshen, and the family was reunited after years of loss and pain. Jacob's heart nearly stopped when he heard the news. Joseph was alive. His spirit revived. "It is enough," he said. "My son Joseph lives. I will go and see him before I die." So the entire household of Jacob, 70 people in all, journeyed to Egypt. When Joseph saw his father, he ran to him and wept on his shoulder a long time. After decades apart, father and son were finally reunited. Pharaoh welcomed them with honor and gave them the fertile land of Goshen, where they could thrive as shepherds. Joseph provided for his family as the famine continued. Under Joseph's management, Egypt survived the 7 years of scarcity. He stored wisely, sold fairly, and strengthened Pharaoh's kingdom. Joseph became a legend across the land, the Hebrew who saved a nation. As the years passed, Jacob grew old and eventually died. Before his death, he blessed each of his sons and made Joseph promise to bury him in the land of Canaan. Joseph kept that promise, and a great procession carried Jacob home. After Jacob's death, Joseph's brothers feared he would seek revenge. But Joseph reassured them, saying again, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring about the saving of many lives." Joseph lived a full life in Egypt. Before he died, he told his family, "God will surely come to your aid and bring you out of this land to the land he promised." He made them swear to carry his bones with them when they returned. Many years later, they did. As Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, Joseph's bones were carried with them, a symbol of faith, forgiveness, and the power of God's purpose. If this powerful story moved you, imagine what more is hidden within the pages of Scripture. Subscribe to Chronicles of Eden for more timeless Bible stories told like never before. Don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts or favorite part of Joseph's journey. Thanks for watching.